River I need to vent on the drive home. That's unusual, but I am going to vent because I'm loving the venting. I just had to take my jacket off because I can't drive with tight sleeves on. I mean, I can, but I don't like it. I mean, not tight, but you know what I mean, like winter coats and they're warm and snug. When I used to wear fitted jacket suits for work, God, I could never go back to that era of my life. Fucking corporate suits and stilettos. Ugh, yuck. Little pencil-thin skirts and mini skirts and, hey, Deb, fitted blazers, jackets and fitted work shirt. Oh, yuck. No, none of that in me olden days. How was your day, Deb? I'm having a vent, a rant, because don't you just love people who are parked and they just fling their doors open and don't actually see if there's traffic and they feel like their door taking up half the laneway of moving traffic's not a problem? If I had a big four-wheel drive with a big bull bar on it, I'd just keep playing on through them. Just fling the door open. It's like, what makes you think that door's not going to get, like, smashed off? Because I'm the girl for the job. I'm going up my street. Oh, shit, there's a queue. I did this to avoid another queue. But, yeah, Victoria Street. It's my street. You had a few rants. Rants are good. I'm just getting into the rants. And I always have little rants in my own brain. And now I'm like, do it on YouTube. Because then it inspires other people to let off steam about what they want to rant about. And, you know, when we go down to the beach, you have your little rant and then you throw it out to sea and you move on with life. You don't cling to these things. But I find things that irritate me, if I go on YouTube and share it with everyone, it's done. I've had my say. My clients thank me all the time. They're just grateful that someone's listened to their story. So, you know, YouTube, we're all grateful that we are able to share our stories, and then you move on. You don't have this thing that just bugs you day in, day out, lingering. But there's something that I've always been very passionate about, and I've seen it happen all over YouTube. And I've ranted about it before. I've had plenty of lives, possibly 3 or 4 already, about giving credit where it's due. I fucking hate plagiarists. I hate thieves. Or in the comedy world, when you use someone else's material, they're called hacks. And a YouTube scandal that erupted today involving a creator plagiarizing work, claiming it as their own, 70,000 plus subscribers, and didn't say they'd used somebody else's hard work, has been called out again. I'm not naming names. They're currently being sued for streaming a TV network live and putting their own logo on it. You think they might be a bit careful about how they behave while they're in a lawsuit, but anyway. It's the straw that broke the camel's back as far as me wanting to have a rant. Like, I'm not fired up just because of this one creator. It happens all the fucking time on YouTube. It is so easy to credit people. You can drop links in your chat. You can thank them for their hard work. You can put links in your description. You can add links in your comment. You can say their name. Someone's put all this effort and time into doing this. They've done all the legwork for me. Thank you so much. I'm going to refer to this person's chronology because it's so well done. I'm going to credit this person for bringing this thing to my attention and not act like I discovered it myself. Hey, Tony Martinez. Your favourite is here. Hello. I like hot stuff. You've just made a very middle-aged lady very happy. Thank you. But yeah, it's not just that one creator. It happens all the time. And why? You're happy to stream other people. Oh, fair use. But you won't credit people whose work you stumble across and use. If you read something that somebody else has written, whether it's an article out of a magazine or online, a news story, a summary of a true crime case, and you read it word for word and don't credit the author, you are a thief. You're a plagiarist. You're a scumbag. Subscribers love creators, and if a creator reads them something that someone else has written, it doesn't matter if they wrote it or not. If they credit the person who wrote it, the subscribers are still going to love listening to their favourite creator reading it. But give credit where it's due. For fuck's sake. I'm only 3 years older than you. I shouldn't be reading. I'll read when the traffic's crawling. I hope the traffic's crawling. You don't want to get sued for plagiarism. You don't. I know how fucking easy it is to find out if someone wrote something or not. Do you know what you do? When I was scam baiting, I copy-pasted some of the romantic messages I got from the scammers and threw it into the Google machine, and surprise, surprise, up came websites and the source as well, the name of the author and the book or the poem or the news story, whatever it was, wherever it came from. Creators that normally just chat away and suddenly they give like a little speech, or suddenly they're doing a case and they're using words they don't use in their everyday vocabulary. Type in a couple of sentences that they say word for word and hit enter, and you'll find out who wrote it very quickly. It's not hard. And one day, someone will email that author and say, hey, check out this YouTube channel. They're reading your words that you possibly spent days, weeks, months, years of your life putting together. You possibly got paid by someone to do that work, and now there's some little shithead on YouTube reading it out verbatim and not mentioning you wrote it. How do you feel about that, bucko? Here's a link to the YouTube channel. Do you want to maybe send them a little message? Hit them up for a fee? Just ask them to credit you because you wrote it, not them? And it turns out today a YouTube creator got caught doing it. And they're not the first, and they won't be the last. But interestingly, this particular creator is currently being sued for live streaming a news service and putting their brand on it and not doing the fair use thing and stopping and starting and offering commentary and taking credit for it. Tell your subscribers if you're using somebody else's work. If they're another YouTuber, drop their link so your subscribers can subscribe to them. Share the love. If you're going to use someone else's work and they're on YouTube, share the love. If they're on Twitter, share their Twitter handle. If it's an article, share the name of it and the name of the author. It goes on a lot. I mean, I haven't forgotten Helen Demidенko, Deb, who weirdly looked a bit like Martin Bryan, but that's a topic for another day. It happens everywhere, but it happens on social media too, and this is my platform to be scathing and critical of other social media platform users. And the problem is in the past, YouTubers have gone live and talked about this stuff, and YouTube just is like this sort of weird spinning black hole that someone gets caught out doing something, creators with good intentions point it out, and it all just... And people who've been ripped off by those creators in the past get a bit excited thinking, finally, this is going to come out, they're going to be exposed, and it doesn't hurt their channel, and they just keep doing what they're doing, and all the outrage just disappears. It just gets sucked into a black hole. Where this one today is interesting is that it's gone from YouTube onto the Twitter sphere. And some pretty big tweeters are talking about it. And the person who's plagiarised someone, stolen someone else's work, and isn't decent enough to just mention their name and where they found it and provide a link even. And look, if people don't provide links, I get it. Sometimes you're too busy to jump over and open up your tweeters and find the link and so on. But if you can say, look, it's on Twitter and this is their name, I just like to give them credit. But instead, the subscribers of that channel are all going, wow, look at all the hard work he did. And then the creator's gone onto Twitter and been abusive. People are asking for her just to acknowledge who wrote it and apologise. And she's pretty much abused people and blocked them. Nice adulting there. Not. People don't, and I guess one of the reasons, Deb, why I get so fired up about this is because, you get blacklisted in the comedy world for hacking other people's material. Like anyone that works in any kind of art area, whether it's music, writing, comedy, when you bust your guts to come up with original ideas and material and people plagiarise it, and often it's been plagiarised by someone with a much bigger profile than yours, like in comedy. People used to send scouts around to comedy clubs in Adelaide and they'd watch all of us little comedians that didn't have big profiles, and you'd hear your own jokes word perfect on these national radio shows the next day. And you're like, I know that's my original story because it's a story about my mum when she was dying, for example. But because some big-name comedian's now done it, you can't do it anymore because people will go, I heard so-and-so on radio saying that you're a hack. Yeah, the rant is about what it says in the subject. People who plagiarise are thieves. Give credit where it's due. Like, share the fucking love. If you're good at what you do and you come up with your own original content and you come up with great ideas and other creators use it in their shows and they reference you, give you credit for it, you're going to be proud as punch. Happy as a pig in shit. So why not reciprocate when you use somebody else's work? It's not that hard. It's not going to lose you subscribers to acknowledge somebody else wrote something, but don't sit up on your platform and make out it's your hard work and you did it when it's obvious you didn't. Don't know, Tony. Bit vague in there. I'm not sure. There's a lot of. Trying to think of the Australian Dave Letterman. Wait, someone who interviewed? I don't know. I mean, there's a few fallen celebrities in Australia for those sorts of shenanigans. You watched two big performers just tell the same joke word for word recently. Look, I mean, there's in the comedy world, there is a line that there's no such thing as an original joke. And sometimes people do come up with, like, if they're doing topical comedy and something's just happened, like, there's almost sort of predictable punchlines that people can end up doing very similar ones. But when you're the lesser known of the two comedians, you pull that material very quickly. Like, I read a lot of comedy writings and jokes before I started doing comedy, and there were times when I'd tell a joke and I'd be like, did I actually think that up myself or did I remember it because it was funny? And there was one line in particular that I said on stage once, and it was George Carlin who first said it. But there was a comedian in Australia who was doing the joke. Like, I actually told a story more than tell the joke. And then it got back to him and he was furious that I'd hacked him. But I didn't then go, well, actually, you're hacking George Carlin. I apologised because I accepted that he might have thought it up himself and didn't realise it had been said before either. But it's very strange when you're in a comedy show, like in an audience, and a comedian you've worked with before comes out on stage and starts using your jokes, and that's happened to me, and that's weird. And then if you call them out on it and speak to them about it, you get defensiveness, and they say things like, I've been doing that for years. And it's like, you've been a comedian for 6 months and I'm standing right next to the person who wrote that joke with me. Like, and I did it on this same stage less than a year ago, and you were in the audience. Like, you were in that show. And that particular comedian who did steal something of mine became internationally famous. And that comedian wrote brilliant material without having to pinch my little joke. But, you know, I mean, my joke didn't make them famous. They're fucking brilliant. So why touch my shit? He had a night show, Steve something. Steve Vizard. That I do not know. What, you're saying he's the David Letterman you were talking about earlier? I loved Steve Vizard and Michael. I've forgotten his surname, and I've actually had many a dinner with him on Beach. On, I think it might have been Fast Forward when they were the gay airline attendants. Holy shit. That stuff now you couldn't get away with. It was so politically incorrect. It was brilliant. I'm a Jimmy Carr fan too, and I love his laugh. He sounds like a goose. And And he's so good with hecklers. There is a water tanker ahead. You are right, Shady Man. Hello. It's a water truck. It's not carrying anything flammable. Because down where I live, we're on tank water. And when our tanks get a bit low, we call in these trucks to top them up. But because we've had rain, my tank has been close to full for months. It's been awesome. And God forbid, nobody wants their tank to overflow. So when it's raining, it's like, have a bath, do the washing, wash some more shit, mop the floors, go under the house and hose down the water tank because it's got sand on it. Like, don't like Jimmy Carr, Kyle Dunnigan the best. Well, thankfully, we're all different. So there's a lot of variety and a lot for us all to love. It wouldn't be boring if we all liked the same shit. But here's my message to you thieves of the YouTube world and other, well, just generally. If you didn't write it, credit the person who did. The end. Nobody's going to love you any less. In fact, if you are crediting all the different sources you found, Sub, it shows how hard you research things and how you found in your researching the best of the best to share with your subscribers. People aren't going to unsubscribe from you because you read out something that somebody else wrote and credit them. People are going to unsubscribe from you if you plagiarize someone and don't credit them and get caught. So just be a decent fucking person and give credit where it's due. I'm never going to live stream the bath. Tony, you're unrelenting in your pursuit. You own all your you do. You do own all the tall foot humour. See how nobody wants to listen to a YouTuber pointing out the shitty behaviour of YouTubers? That's why I'm never going to grow, because I just go live and talk about the shit that I see now. I'm sick of not saying anything. But I will never... Oh, fuck, I didn't check if my phone volume's up. My audio might be appalling. I apologise if it is. I turned down the volume at work. Is my audio really bad, guys? I mean, I could pull over and fix it. In fact, I might just do that. We'll just... You sound perfect. Don't shout. I've got a shouty voice. When I'm fired up. Sounds good. Thanks. You sound perfect. Thanks, Deb. And I went live in my kitchen the other day and I was the same distance from my phone as I am right now in the car. And I was told my audio was shit. So, you know. So I fucked up the omelette flipping to make my sound the lesser of the issues. But bless the three of you for tolerating my rant. clearly people haven't poured in because they're all thieves. They're all like, oh, fuck no, she's on to me now. I'm not going to go in there. She's talking about my thievery. It's people's hearing the thank you, Deb. Have a bath, but don't wash it. Gross, stop it. We've talked about this, Tony. If you touch my feet, I'm not responsible for what I do to your face. Yep. There's my disclaimer. A guy did buy me a pair of shoes once in Melbourne in Ackland Street and just asked me to walk down the street so he could watch me walking away in the shoes that he bought me. And I was a struggling uni student and said thank you and ended up with a really expensive pair of Milady sandals. And friends of mine thought it was quite disturbing and a bit creepy. And I mean, it was certainly a bit kinky. This dude had a kink. We're behind the water tanker again. But fuck it, for a $300 pair of black leather Italian sandals, I was game. And I had those sandals for years. They were one of the most comfortable, gorgeous pair of sandals I've ever owned. They were strappy and like they were dressy. They had a heel. They weren't really sandals. They were like shoes. Oh man, this road's awesome. It's ace, Deb. It's fucking ace. We love it. It's shaved a good 10, 15 minutes off the trip. You know, and if you've got to stop in Sorel to get some things, you can. You can go in there to Sorel Country Fresh Market, which is... I don't need anything. That's why I'm not stopping. But their business is probably cranked up a bit because people are bypassing... stolen car on the side of the road. People are bypassing Sorel and getting what they need at the Country Fresh Market. It's a win-win for everyone. I made myself a mocha for the drive home. I don't think I've ever made a mocha before. Holy shit. I make a killer mocha, I've just discovered. And it's my own original recipe. Otherwise, I'd credit whoever's fucking recipe it was. Yeah, I would. Maybe I should become a lawyer for people on social media to start, you know, a little online business, a little consultancy. Come to me if you want me to send a little letter to people that are stealing your work, quoting a few judgments about plagiarism and the sort of penalties that may be imposed upon you if you are found out to be plagiarising. I mean, if you don't have the skills to research and compile documents and chronologies or write stories, then just read somebody's work out and credit them for it. It's just that easy. Creators on YouTube, but also when you follow a creator, you get used to their style, you get used to their verbiage, you get used to the vocabulary. When they're suddenly saying something that is using language they never use, it's fucking obvious they're plagiarising. And I'm very keen to see how this now spreading all over Twitter, if it makes a difference, because you can point out a scandal on YouTube and, like I said, it just gets sucked into some sort of weird black hole and disappears, and the creators kind of get away scot-free. So they keep doing it, doing what they've been doing, well, they start doing other shit. I wonder if Twitter is a more forceful platform when it comes to accountability and outcomes. Hill Street's been here for a few years, Deb. I mean, they've just done a bit of an upgrade, but it's been here for 5 years. It's just that they kept it looking like the old IGA, which we all miss terribly. And they've taken out the deli section, which everybody loved. And now you basically buy already pre-cut slices of shit in environmental packs that cost a lot of money. And as much as I care about the environment, I think those Enviro packs often drive food out. And if you're paying for 5 slices of ham off a bloody $50 a kilo leg of ham, and you're forking out $11 for 5 slices of ham, you don't want it to be fucking dry, right? We've got a few issues down here. They're not the locals, they're tailoring to the people that come down in summer, or as I call them, the people from Sandy Bay who can't afford Orford. The weekenders and the townies, they all skip into Hill Street. But back when it was still like the old daggy IGA with cracks in the lino, and you could buy live fishing bait, but you could also buy truffle oil. I loved it when they first came in and we suddenly had access to quality ingredients, but also you could buy a pair of thongs. Thongs are flip-flops in the way, by the way. Anyone listening who lives in a country where a thong is a G-string, it's totally their normal standard, Deb. They've gentrified it. It's just like every other Hill Street in the state. And, the locals down here, there's a lot of single mums, single dads, and a lot of elderly folk, a lot of part-time workers. And they do thrifty Thursdays, and they promote a lot of local farmers, like there's fresh produce from farms in the area. They support local dairies, and and a lot of the stuff priced to supermarkets that I'm really not a fan of. But there's also, it's not cheap, it's, and everyone loved the daggy old IGA that you could go in bare feet in summer and buy your little ice cream because it's stinking hot. Bump into your mates. Now it's all shiny and Hill Streety, and I'm not knocking their success. They've done incredibly well in the entire state. From an original little shop in West Hobart, they've done amazing things, and their customer service when you're ordering Christmas hampers and things like that is exceptional. And during all the COVID self-isolating and lockdowns, their free delivery was fantastic. Not that I used it, but it was fantastic for people who don't have cars and couldn't get out of their homes because they were immunocompromised. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good things that they do down here too. But we all miss the daggy old IGA. And they had Hill Street branding at the end of every aisle, but it was still an IGA. I don't know, it just, to quote the castle, wogs and cash. Exactly. But yeah, they've been here for years. Like, I mean, I've been here for 8 years. There was no bottle shop. There's a bottle agent there on the left. That wasn't here when I built down here. There was the IGA. It wasn't Hill Street. I can't remember how long they've had it. 5 years maybe. But because they've now, I mean, we were about to drive past it, but because they've upgraded it and made it look like every other Hill Street, although we didn't get the cool Moroccan tiles, we got grey and white square tiles. They reckon they're beachy. It's like, you think? Grey and white, okay. You know, and bloody subway tiles as far as the eye can see. And I put subway tiles in my bathroom and my kitchen because I love them. But hey, Miss K, hello. You did just catch me as I'm rolling into Dodge Vegas. It just looks like another Hill Street. And they don't even own the building, so this refit they've spent a lot of money. But, you know, we all walk around in there. We can't find anything now because they've changed everything. There's more shit in there, but there's less. Like, if that makes, I mean, there is literally more stuff, but it seems like the variety is less. And things that you used to know exactly where they were, like everyone just wanders around in there. Here we go. There it is. And it used to have lots of glass windows along the front, and they've closed them all up except for one. Just miss the IGA, the Daggy Beach. I mean, it's bad enough that we're now getting footpaths, and when I built my place, the road that I live on wasn't. Now it is, and they've had to put in footpaths because people are clumsy and hurt themselves. So then suddenly we have a footpath put in. And I think those little changes take away that beachy, slightly hazardous feel that everyone loved. Don't apologise, Miss Kay. It's lovely that you've popped in. I've just been ranting about plagiarists on YouTube. I had to vent. I'm just sick of people not giving credit where it's due, and I don't get why they don't when it's obvious that they're not the owner of the material they use, or, you know. Yeah, the IGA has been here forever. It's just change, and I love change usually, but I feel for the families down here that are, you know, living as frugally as they can, and they may not have cars, or they might, but the petrol to drive down to the Surreal Country Fresh, like they don't have any other choice but to Hill Street, and it's not cheap for the basic shit like ham that they need for their kids' school sandwiches, you know, that sort of stuff. Oh, there's a piece of wood in the middle of the road. No, I still love change and I adapt to change, but I can be critical of changes that I think are a little bit ill thought out. You've got to play to your audience, you know. You've got to think about the area that you're in and the incomes of the people that will be shopping there, and what products they need to be affordable. And, you know, I'm all for change if it factors in who you're serving, you know. All for it. But I think they've made a few mistakes, and I think some people are really struggling because of it, you know. Or they're having to spend money and petrol to go to a nearby shop in another town to buy groceries they can afford, but then the cost of the petrol, they might as well have just gone to Hill Street. You just got to witness my extreme reverse parking skills. I'm home and it's still light because it's spring. I'm going to end this live. I'm going to go and feed my mugger. I left work I've been live for 40 minutes. That's how long it took me to get home. And when it's not peak hour, it takes me 35 minutes. I'm pretty happy about that. See, that's a change that's good. But Groovers, here comes Joey, right when I'm about to log off, boo-boo. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, please, people, if you use other people's material or research or stories or any work of anyone's that you use on YouTube, give credit where it's due. Because if you don't, you're nothing but a low-down thief. And you're going to get caught. And you don't want Twitter alive bitching about what a piece of shit you are. Someone has to save the moo-moo. Oh, a metal cow for your lawn. Enjoy. Find a way to send me a photo. Is it going to go rusty? Because I love things that you put outside and they go rusty. I love rust. I love it. I mean, I don't love it in a car, but I love rust. I've got rusty numbers on my house. I've got rusty things in the house. I've got things on my deck that are rusty. So yeah, let's talk about saving the moo-moo. Although I want to talk about saving the moo-moo as in the caftan moo-moo. But yeah, save the cows. But like I was saying, Groovers, if you use anyone's work on your YouTube channel, give credit where it's due, or you're going to get caught and everyone's going to think you're an asshole. Until next time, stay groovy, everyone. I know you do, Joey. This isn't a live about you. There's a YouTube creator who's in a lot of hot water again, who's been caught plagiarizing. Did they offer an apology and agree to credit the person whose work they stole? No. They got defensive and abusive and called people assholes and then blocked them. So, yeah, see it happening all the time on YouTube. And I think your subs are not going to hate you for crediting somebody else's work. If you read something out that someone else wrote, they're still going to hang on every word that you read out and they're going to enjoy it. Where you will lose subs is if you lie to them. If you get caught out being a thief. That's where you lose subs. So weigh it up. Just admit you didn't do the work. Credit the person who did. Your subs will love you. Love you long time. Steal shit. Don't give credit and get caught. Watch the sub count go down. Until next time, stay moo. Everybody. Everybody's movie today. You're all movers. I can't help it, Joey. I hate thieves and liars. But now I'm home. I'm going to go and feed my muggy, who will then want me to chase her around the house till midnight, and cook some dinner. And I love you, Groovers. And I'll see you all again very soon when something else happens on YouTube that I want to get fired up about. And I'm planning on doing a Chris Dawson live. I am doing it, but very soon. Until next time, stay.